This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stockbox interview. Joining us today is Kerim Yusenmez, the President and CEO of Metallum Resources, a TSX-listed exploration company with the ticker MZN. So, hello Kerim, welcome onto Stockbox. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I wonder if I can ask you to start us off by perhaps just introducing the company, giving us a little bit of history, and really what you're all about.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I myself, I'm a geological engineer. I'm the current president and CEO of Metallum and a director. I have, more than 20 years of experience in the sector with all stages of exploration, mine development, as well as production in Canada. But we also have a very experienced board and team that can build a mine, grow, and bring tangible shareholder value, which they've done before. So basically, we acquired this asset that's located in northwestern Ontario from an Australian listed company called Spirit Lake Resources. Now, they changed their name and the nature into Frontier Energy at this point. They're building solar panels, which also need a lot of zinc and copper, which we are going to be mining very, very shortly. But yeah, this is a past producing mine. It was closed at the end of the 90s after 10 years of production, but they closed it due to very low zinc prices at the time. I'm talking about around $800 per pound US, just under that at the time. Today, it's more than $4,000, $4,200. I was super happy when it hit $3,400, $3,500 later last year because we did our feasibility study and published it in October that based on $2,700. Mm-hmm. So it's great timing. But what we also benefit is that there's a lot of infrastructure in place, such as tailings dam and underground development right to the ore. The road, it's very close to main Trans-Canada Highway that connects Eastern and Western Canada. And that also connects to multiple smelters that we can process our concentrate that we will be producing. But also, if we wanted to ship it to Europe or China, there's a port in Thunder Bay, which is connected from the mine gate by Trans-Canada Highway, 150 kilometers. So that's very, very convenient. And also Vancouver, either railway station that's 27 kilometers from our mine gate. So super good location, good support, close to production. In fact, it's on the development stage of the Lassonde curve, but very, very compelling feasibility study numbers as well.
Okay. Can you perhaps paint the picture a little bit for the market for zinc and copper? You mentioned you have there as well. And as you say, the price of zinc and copper doing extremely well. Zinc in particular, I think up, 40% on the year. And of course, we know copper is breaking all-time highs. A lot of it probably driven by the current geopolitical things that are going on. But ultimately, the feeling I get is there is a distinct lack of these commodities for the demand that is coming up. So could you perhaps, in your own words, paint the picture for the market going forward for both zinc and copper?
Absolutely. So zinc and copper both will fuel green economy, the electrification that we're seeing in the last multiple years around the world, not just, developed world, but around the world. What I mean by that is copper is used to transport. It's the best conductor, but also, the production of electricity from green energy, which is solar panels, wind turbines, and so forth. It's all equals to copper. But zinc is also used on those. Zinc historically and predominantly as today used in galvanizing and strengthening the steel, 50%, let's say. The rest are some nutrition, some battery use, which is getting some traction. Zinc air, zinc ion batteries. In fact, the first batteries that Newton developed were zinc ion batteries. So there's a bit of development. Zinc 8 Energy is doing a great work. A Canadian listed company. Buffalo not Buffalo, sorry, state of New York converted their energy storage into zinc air batteries because it is very cheap to store energy more, but also it's easy to transport. You don't need any permits because they don't combust. They're not toxic. In fact, I take zinc pills when I travel most of the time because it boosts the immune system. Tech does a lot of good work in Africa about that nutrition piece of it. But what's also happening is that with this electrification, when I see wind turbines, all I see is zinc. They're coated by zinc because those things are usually built where there's wind. Surprise, surprise. But not only wind, but there's often water around it. Look at Denmark or Northwest Europe. They're building those in the sea. I mean, it's water and air means rust. So you need to coat them by zinc. So as we move forward with this electrification or the green economy, there will be zinc and copper. That's what we have been seeing. Last year, that started off. When you look at zinc prices, earlier last year, it started to go up and steadily has been going up apart from the conflict that we are seeing what's happening in Eastern Europe. Now, in the few last years, the inventory levels have been depleted around the world for copper as well as zinc. And especially South America got hit hard by COVID that participated in that, obviously Asia too. But what's resulting with that is that all the inventory levels are all-time lows and there's not enough production coming up. With the zinc production, a lot of major mines are going to close by 2025. I'm talking about Century in Australia, Kazzinc, Bisha in Eritrea, couple Peru in, El Brocal and Pasco, and some others. They're going to create probably around 300,000 to 400,000 tons deficit by 2025. At the end of 26 and 27, it's going to correlate to 1 million tons deficit. So now the zinc mines that are going to come into production will not even come close to close the gap from these closures, let alone the demand that is growing. So we are very well positioned. Our project is one of the highest grade zinc projects in the world. I'm talking 18%. Historically, the average before 2006, it was 5% zinc was average grade of development or production. Now it's around 2 to 3%. We have 18%. Same with copper. The average grade that is around development or production varies from 0.4 to 0.5%. Our copper grade is 1%. And we are located in one of the best jurisdictions in Canada, around the world, and very close to production with a lot of infrastructure being in place. Having major infrastructure in place gives us the opportunity to get this into production in a closed manner, but also saves a lot of capital cost.
I can certainly see that you have the infrastructure. I read that you have good access roads, you have transmission lines, you have lots of stuff already in place, ventilation shafts, water dams. So there's lots of infrastructure already there. And of course, as you say, the jurisdiction as well, very safe, prolific for mining. Can we talk a little bit more about the project then and the resource? You say it's the biggest in the world. You have a feasibility study. I assume that was based on a lower zinc price. So could you perhaps tell us a little bit more about the resource you have, the value that you feel it's worth, and the stage that you're at to take it forward?
Absolutely. That's a very good but loaded question. So I might talk a little bit longer, so you might have to interrupt if I go off the rails here. So the 43101 resource we have, updated resource, was published last year. So that says there's 2.35 2,350,000 million tons at 18% zinc in average, 1% copper, 0.4 grams per ton gold, and 34 grams per ton silver. So now we talked about that as being one of the highest grade zinc projects in the world, but development projects, but everybody loves gold. Let's convert that into gold equivalent. Today, zinc price is 1.84 or 80s, 1.80, and copper is $4.6 per pound. But I converted that at 1.5. 30% conservatively. So that equals to gold equivalent resource of 13 grams per ton at 1 million ounces. So it's very, very high grade any way you look at it. But what's interesting is because of the infrastructure and the location being very close to main Trans-Canada Highway and 20 kilometers with a well-maintained road to the main highway that connects east and west of Canada. But also, we are very close to a town called Schreiber, 27 kilometers from the mine gate. There's a railway station, which is operational. We can ship it to Thunder Bay Port, which is 150 kilometers from the mine gate by truck or railway station. And that connects both of them, the highway as well as the railway station connects east and west ports, the smelters along the route. So super, super well location. But yeah, you mentioned about the infrastructure, the tailings dam, the polishing pond, all the dams, the underground infrastructure, the underground development, 16 kilometers right to the ore, the shafts, it's on grid. There's a transformer on site and so forth. That makes it very, very compelling because two things. The capital requirement is very low, but it also means that permitting is less. And also, apart from that, you're going to get to production faster. How long does it take to build all this? Years, we're talking. We are already there. We have the feasibility study. So the feasibility study was updated and published in October 2021, last year, a few months ago, 5 months ago. What it says is, based on $1.5, I converted that to that. It was done in $2,700 per pound, so per ton zinc price, which is $1.2 per pound. Remember, we are at 1.8 today, this year. So all-in sustaining cost was 41 cents per pound. All-in sustaining cost, meaning break-even cost is 41 cents. So we will be good until the zinc price drops to 41 cents, which we haven't seen for, I don't know how many years, really. It's 1.8. It is the best time to do this. But this is going to generate almost $120 million EBITDA per year on the life of mine, which currently sits at 9 years. It's a great time to do this. Like IRR is around 45% post-tax, after-tax, 8% discounted NPV is $360 million. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm. I mean, listening to you, it sounds like this project is fantastic, really. I don't want to say you were lucky, but the fact that you've picked this up when the previous operators couldn't take it forward because of the zinc prices, would you say you've really hit a winner here, do you think?
I think so. I mean, timing is everything.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head there, but it is not only because they couldn't do it with the prices. They actually, in fact, they were able to raise $5 million and did all the work that we are benefiting from. They did a lot of geophysics, exploration potential. I'll touch base as well. But they did a lot of work for this feasibility study, which we are fortunate enough. The deal was done partly because they were based in Australia, and it was getting harder for them to run from Australia with COVID coming. You know, they were looking for a Canadian team, a joint venture partner, whatever you want to name it. But then the deal turned into an acquisition, which, yes, at the time, zinc wasn't in anybody's radar. It still isn't, really. It's a great contrarian look at it as an investor's point of view, even now. Here is why. At the time, it was about $1, maybe a little bit less, floating around 80 cents to $1 per pound. They were still doing this very, very well work. But then when we came in, we thought, this might be a good time because of all the infrastructure that is going to need it, or the stimulus packages with COVID, after COVID. It was a good time. Yes, it was opportunistic. We were already here. I've worked in zinc. We have the good team. Mark built Trevally Mining before, a zinc company from nothing. He reopened mines. We said we could do this. So obviously Simon did that with Fortuna Silver to our chairman. So they are very supportive, the previous owners, because they're our main shareholder. We acquired this by equity. So yes, it was good timing. It's even better now. To move this forward, we couldn't have picked a better time.
So, talking about moving it forward, what stage are you at now, and what are the next stages really to take it forward?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it is flooded. The mine underground workings are flooded right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's an underground mine. It's flooded because when they closed it, that's the requirement, so that nothing rusts or it's for stability purposes. Our initial point of step to take is to dewater it. So now, with all the infrastructure being in place, the permitting is relatively straightforward. Plus, we are not going to disturb the ground anything other than what is already there. Now, it's on patented land, meaning it's very close to the laws that are the United States. You own it, you own everything. It doesn't work that way in Canada. You own the mining rights underneath, but with patented land, it makes it easier to permit. So we can build stuff on it as we are dewatering. That's one thing. But with dewatering, it'll allow us to go underground and do bulk sampling, or even move forward with the product. So permitting is very straightforward. It needs the local support, which we are very, very fortunate. We have very good relationship with the First Nations. So that's not going to be a hurdle, to be honest. We don't see that. So that should be pretty straightforward. So next steps, we are going to start dewatering this summer. And after that, start building the mine. We are hoping that we will be in production, not hoping, but currently the schedule is we will be in production later in the year, next year. So we are on schedule so far. Again, I cannot iterate this any further. The asset value, you look at it, there are only 5 assets fit the criteria, because we looked at 117 assets in the world. Most of them, half of them, are in high-risk jurisdictions, which we see now how important that is, being in a safe jurisdiction. And then half of them are low grade, and the other half are high grade that we're looking at. And then we looked at the resource. So there's only over 7% zinc grade, over 400,000 tons zinc. There's only 5 development assets in the world, and 4 out of 5 are held by multi-billion-dollar companies. Ours is in the low end of the $1 million. So asset value to the market cap is very favorable on the investor's point of view. Should go up from here. We have the highest grade and lowest capex requirement.
Okay, well, Kerim Youssefmez, the president and CEO of Metallum Resources, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stopboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.